The Chaser Report is recorded on Gadigal land.
Striving for mediocrity in a world of excellence. This is the Chaser Report.
Hello and welcome to the Chaser Report with Dom and Charles. And Dom, are you feeling very accurate today?
Not at all. No, I'm feeling erroneous. I'm feeling incorrect. I'm feeling like everything I say is rubbish, including what I just said, that everything I say is rubbish. Some of it's not. Or maybe it is.
Well, thanks for asking. I, on the other hand, am feeling extremely prescient.
I can tell because there's a massive smirk on your face, which frankly, dear listener, you're lucky you can't see.
So, you know how we did that virally successful episode last week about Putin and explaining what it was going on, all that sort of stuff?
It was this week, but that's okay.
It was this week.
A lot's happened.
Oh, sorry, I was a little bit inaccurate about that.
You were thinking about your own your submarines too, weren't you?
Oh, that's
You've
right,
had a lot of theories about things lately.
Anyway, in that explainer, I said a couple of things which have turned out to be incredibly good analysis, right? And I just want to gloat for a second.
Sure.
Yeah. First one is, you know how I said, look, we don't know what actually pressure Prigozhin was under. And I said, you know, did they threaten his daughter, right? That was something I said.
That's something you said.
Yeah. It turns out that's what happened. They're widely reporting that actually the FSO, which is Putin's bodyguards, went and grabbed Prigozhin's family and said, we've got your family, now stand down.
I think they're called the FSB, but nevertheless.
No, that's the other thing that I mentioned.
All right.
The other thing that I mentioned was the FSB is what everyone looks at because that's the old KGB, right? And they interpret it in terms of Soviet sort of things. There's actually another arm which has become far more important in Putin's Russia, which is called the FSO, which is Putin's bodyguard. I actually mentioned that.
So there's actually a Praetorian Guard of Putin.
Yes.
What an idiot for not securing it. Everyone knows they take your daughter and your family. Prigozhin presumably takes people's relatives all the time.
This is why I think my overarching analysis is turning out to be truer and truer by the day, which is this is an office politics dispute. If you have an argument with the boss about who gets to control the stapler or changing the toner or cleaning the kitchen, you don't think about securing your family because you don't think it's going to explode like that. You just think this is an office politics situation. It's not going to, the person I'm warring with is not going to go home and threaten to kill my children.
But that's what happened. Putin. It's the person. If you worked in Vladimir Putin's office, Charles, you would absolutely know that. You'd be checking every single glass of water anyone brought you for polonium in the office.
Yes, but don't you think
this says to me, Charles?
Don't you think after a while your hypervigilance would sort of decline?
No.
Oh.
If you can't go near a window in Putin's Russia without the chance of being thrown out of it.
No, clearly generals do keep going near windows because they keep dropping their guard and falling out windows.
I suspect they don't go near the windows till they're picked up and thrown out them. But Charles, also, this suggests to me, like gloating about being right about what was going on means that you're skilled in thinking like Vladimir Putin. That's not an attribute I would be boasting about, frankly.
Well, I think you think that because you weren't as accurate as me.
I was not as accurate, yeah.
So anyway, stay tuned to the Chaser Report, the home of occasionally accurate analysis and constant gloating when it is accurate.
Think Like a Despot with Charles Firth on the Chaser Report, exclusively presented to you here. Well done, Charles. Now, look, these things, I must say, when I realised that the episode was going to be you cobbling together various bits of information you'd gathered from the internet,
yes,
I was quite worried, particularly on the submarine stuff,
yes,
because you made some very big calls about how dodgy it all was.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right.
Completely
so
true.
Good cobbling.
Yes.
Good cobbling.
So talking about what we've cobbled together for today's episode, we're going to talk about the Taylor Swift major event.
Oh, yes.
That's coming up. Plus, I'm going to talk about how great I am.
Oh, again? God. Plus, I have a way to survive and even thrive in the Sydney rental market. It's all after this.
Okay, can we start with how great I am?
Oh, God, didn't we do that already?
No, actually, can we talk about Taylor Swift first?
Yes, let's talk about how great Taylor Swift is.
It's the biggest story of the day. On Tuesday afternoon, the Victorian government took the unprecedented decision to declare the Taylor Swift tour a major event Now,
Right.
it's news to me that it wasn't a major. Like I thought it was a major event.
But does that mean that it's on the same sort of scale as, I don't know, the Formula One Grand Prix or when Dan Andrews falls down a pair of stairs, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
A set of stairs.
I think what it means is that the Herald Sun has to have constant attack articles on everything.
Yes.
And
That's good. That
happens. No, what it is it's an anti-scalping piece of legislation that they brought about in 2009, I think for the Formula One.
Yeah.
Which says that you can't buy a Taylor Swift ticket and then sell it for more than 10% more than it's worth.
Right.
Which is a huge pity because I went out when I heard that Taylor Swift was coming. I bought up all the tickets in Victoria, the
Right.
MCG, and started selling them at $40,000 a ticket. But now I'm not allowed to sell them anymore. What happened to capitalism?
Dictator Dan
Yes.
hates small businesses.
Yes.
Just honest scalpers just trying to chisel kids out of their dreams.
Honest con men just trying to make a dishonest day's labour.
I mean, everyone knows, Charles, that if you want to make an outrageous killing out of gigs,
Yes.
all you need to do is be a ticketing agency.
Yes.
You have exclusive control of a particular venue.
Yes.
And you just get to charge a massive amount for an automated process that generates a PDF in 1 second.
So this is why I'm proud to announce that we're going to have a new arm of the Chaser from now on.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Ticket Chaser.
Ticket Chaser.
Yeah. And we will become an official ticket seller.
Right.
And we'll just cash in and make lots of money.
Well, that's actually quite a good
Yes.
thing because, I mean, the current services don't live up to their names. I mean, Ticketek
Yeah.
involves no tech.
Yes.
There's no technology
No tech.
involved. It's absolutely terrible. And Ticketmaster, there's no mastery of anything there.
Oh, no,
Like,
well, the Ticketmaster site crashed. Of
course it did.
Because they went, we had no idea that Taylor Swift would be popular.
there's no mastery
Yeah.
there. I mean,
Yeah.
they had these frustrating systems that put you in a queue. You don't have to sit there for half an hour or an hour
yes.
waiting to get in. At least those ones didn't crash. But now even that doesn't work. No,
Yeah.
also,
Whereas
Ticket Chaser, surely, even if you get like just, I don't know, run it off a Nintendo Wii or something, it'll be more reliable than theirs.
Well, the thing is that its name will be accurate because if you log on to us, you will still be chasing a ticket
You will.
for hours and hours and hours.
Or you'll be chasing us for refunds. That's the other thing you'll be chasing for sure.
So anyway, that's my new plan.
Are you going? Are you going to Tay-Tay?
Well, I thought so, but no. So this is the other embarrassing detail. So I saw online that American Express has this exclusive offer, and I've got an American Express card.
Oh, do you like paying massive punitive interest, do you?
Yeah, so I thought, well, I'll log in to there must be some sort of section on the website that allows me to buy this ticket early or something, because it's the deal, right? And apparently the card that I have as an American Express member allows me entry to business lounges around the world.
Oh.
Not to Taylor Swift concerts. Like, you've got to have a specific type of American Express card to be allowed to get
Like one of those metal Centurion ones?
No,
or-
I think it's just like the card for people who enjoy entertainment and partying.
Oh, you got the business
and
one?
I've got
Why
some.
would you have a business card?
I don't know. I didn't know that it was the business one. I just it's literally like the things that I can do is I can rent a suburban car with it. These are the offers on its sort of thing is rent cheaper with Avis or something.
I did see. I once peered into
Yeah.
an Amex lounge at Sydney Airport or something. It was about the size of this studio, so very, very small, and it had like filter coffee. It wasn't exactly premium.
Yeah.
So you could be going to Taylor Swift, and instead,
Yeah.
you've got the shittest lounge at the airport.
Yeah, but also they think of me as Mr. Boring Man, but not the Taylor Swift fan vibe.
Yeah, because being a Taylor Swift fan is very hip, very cutting edge. That's not mainstream at all.
I offered the because my wife and I actually want to go, and we said to the kids, let's go along, like using them as cover for the fact that we want to go. And they went, no, we don't want to go to Taylor Swift. I think we're just going to be going alone. Yeah.
Well,
do you want to come?
I mean, if you pay for my ticket, I can't afford that shit. I don't have an Amex. Is it like $400?
No. I looked it up. There are tickets. There's something like F Reserve or G Reserve is like
F Reserve.
is sort of $139. It's a bargain.
Sit up the back row of a stadium and look at a tiny blot on the other side of the.
But it's worth it. So you can say to your kids, I went to Taylor Swift.
Well, I must say, I did that for Elton
and it wasn't it good?
Elton was, well.
Was that at Homebush?
No, I went to Elton at the Sydney Football Stadium.
Oh, lovely.
And I went on the wettest day ever. And I bought tickets at the last minute. I remember talking to you about this, should I go or not? And I wasn't going to go. And then at the very last minute, I bought a ticket just for myself, went by myself. And it was surprisingly cheap. And it was right in the middle of the field, quite close to where Elton was. And I thought, that's an amazing deal.
Yes.
And the view was incredible.
Yes.
But the reason why I got it was because someone had gotten a refund.
Because it was raining.
There was forecast for torrential rain.
Right.
I've never been as wet in my entire life. Like the entire centre of the field with no cover at all was absolutely drenched. And I caught a terrible cold that lasted for about a week. But I got to see Elton and it was totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
If I'd had an American Express, that would have given me a better seat. Anyway, speaking of people who don't have much money, I've got the solution to rental here.
That's
in
quite
Sydney.
useful.
So there's
talk about burying the lead.
yeah, thanks to news.com.au, they've got a profile here of a 20-year-old man who's solved it. He's absolutely cracked it.
That's
he
great.
was paying $300 a week
Yep.
to live in a little share house in Rosebery, 2 other housemates. You know what he did? Just got out of it. Bought a motorhome. It cost 70 grand to buy a decent motorhome.
Yes.
And I must say, it makes a pretty strong argument. Like the first one that he got was on the back of a Hilux ute. You can imagine how small that is. Not even enough room for a bed. But he's got a proper Winnebago now. And what he does is, this is genius. I mean, you should do this. He drives it to the pub, parks it outside the front of the pub.
Yes.
And then when he comes out of the bar, hours later, completely tanked.
Yes.
He doesn't drive. He just goes to the back of the motorhome and sleeps there outside the pub. I mean, haven't you always wanted to sleep at the pub?
Yeah, it makes homelessness sound glamorous.
It does.
Yes.
And also convenient.
Yes. It's sort of, and it's perfect, isn't it? Because you can park overnight outside most pubs.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
It's allowed. And apparently all you have to do, this is the downside, every fortnight you've got to go to the caravan park and empty the wastewater and toilet. So you've got to pump your own sewage out of it.
Yeah.
But he's got everything he wants. He's got a stove,
70 grand.
microwave.
70 grand's quite a lot of money.
That is one of the complications.
For a depreciating asset.
Yes. But it doesn't go up like Sydney property does, no.
No. And presumably, this is what's happened in the US, isn't it? That's what No Man's Land, which won the Oscar last year, was all about, was the fact that there's this sort of new category of homeless, which is the glamorous homeless.
No, Charles, don't ruin it. Don't ruin this guy's dream. He reckons he's solved it.
Yes.
He doesn't have a proper house. He doesn't have a garden. He don't even think about having a family. But he's happy, apparently.
Yeah, and drunk. He can be drunk.
He's got plenty of spare money apparently to spend on getting drunk at pubs.
Yes.
And then going and sleeping in the van.
And what happens during the day? Like, where do you park it? Because certainly around where we live, you'd have to move your car every 2 hours.
Every 2 hours. Yeah, that would be challenging, particularly if you're working from home. Have to work from the camper van. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it works. All I know is $70,000 a year for the Winnebago.
Yes.
That's kind of less than most people's rent in this city.
And what happens if your Winnebago breaks down and you've got to take it to the mechanic? Like, do you just then
That's good, isn't it? Then you've got a permanent address.
Sleep in it while it's being
towed.
Repaired overnight? Like, or what do you do? You're then literally homeless.
Yes.
If you've got to get it repaired. Or you just sneak in.
Maybe you
and
just
sleep in it.
Sneak into the dealership after hours and just sleep in it.
And maybe say, I want to try out this new Winnebago.
Yeah, that's
Can
a good.
I give it
Do a test. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only problem is I don't have 70 grand to buy one, but if I did, it'd be a bargain.
I know, because this doesn't sound like a solution at all. I don't know anyone who's struggling with rent who has a spare 70 grand lying around. Like, I don't think this is the solution, Dom. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I think, does this guy also have a whole lot of, investment properties?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But I'm also now realising, because it's news.com.au, I scrolled down at the bottom
and
it's actually sponsored content, I think, for a company called Camplify, which lets you share a caravan and motorhome.
The punchline, well, you don't want to share it. It's your fucking home.
No, but it's like a kind of car next door for camper vans.
Yeah, okay. And it's going to say his parents bought him the camper van, didn't they?
I presume. Yeah, it's the only way you can afford that shit in this economy. Oh, plus, how the fuck do you pay for petrol? Petrol's very expensive.
And it would be very expensive for a camper van.
These things are heavy.
Yeah.
It's a stupid idea. When's Tesla going to put out a camper van?
It would be as much as rent, wouldn't it? It would be like $300 a week.
Probably would. Yeah. Nevertheless, at least you get to pay the same amount of money for a smaller place.
The Chaser Report. More news, less often.
Well, that sounds like a terrible solution and doesn't work in any way, Dom.
No, it doesn't. But I'm glad I brought it to the table anyway because it does have one useful implication. Don't read news.com.au.
Now, I was going to conclude this episode by gloating, but I think what we should do is actually park that idea.
Oh, yeah.
And what we'll do is we'll just come back tomorrow and we'll have a whole episode on how great I am.
Charles, we still haven't announced who the 6 millionth listener is.
No, this is what I think we should discuss right now, which is we've been flooded by even more people applying to be the 6 millionth downloader.
A lot of people are very keen.
Some people, there was one today who actually claimed that he'd never downloaded the Chaser Report
That
podcast.
was a big call.
That was very big because it's like,
very Chaser.
How did you know? And he said, well, you will like this because it's ironic and comedians like irony.
It's a bit too confident. It was almost as cocky as you.
It was very cocky. But so keep the entries coming in, podcast@chaser.com.au. What we might do is we might interview, we might also be looking for the 5,999,999.
Oh, to disappoint
listener.
them.
Yeah. So if you want to apply for that position, that would be good. I'm not saying that we've already selected the 6 millionth listener. That would be because it hasn't happened yet. But I'm just saying that might be a position, and also the 6 millionth and first listener.
Oh yes, very good.
Would also be good because I think what we're going to do, it's going to be a bit of a media event. I think that the Victorian government is probably going to deem it a special event.
Inevitably, I'd say.
And I don't know, what should we do? I think we should have a big party. I think we should organise a Chaser, the first ever Chaser Report piss up.
6 millionth.
Yeah.
Can we get 6 million beers from a sponsor?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We'll reach out to a beer manufacturer and see whether they'll give us 6 million beers.
The entry that I found most compelling, Charles, was the one that says, it's from someone just called GA. Title, I'm the 6 millionth downloader, but I don't want an inflatable avocado. Really
I know, there's been several of that.
Podcast@chaser.com.au. Explain why you should be the 6 millionth downloader. Charles has a bunch of unsold free shit that he would like to dump on you, including potentially an inflatable avocado. Actually, a guy called Brad on Twitter tweeted us a picture. He actually bought one.
I know, it's very rare.
It's mysterious.
Yeah.
Brad,
I'm surprised
it
hasn't broken.
Well, actually, it wasn't inflated. It's entirely possible it had deflated. All right.
Okay.
Catch you next time.
So, our gear is from Road. We're part of the Iconoclast Network.
And I'm in no way responsible for those fucking avocados.